Hi, this is Aaron from boymeetsphone.com. What I have here today is the myTouch Q by LG. This is the newest member of the myTouch line and one of the first made by LG. Taking a look at the front, we have a 3.5-inch TFT LCD display. Right below the display we have the Android capacitive buttons for menu, home, back, and the myTouch staple Genius button. On top we have the earpiece, which is sunk in right below there. And on this side we have the proximity sensor. There is no ambient light sensor, so the brightness is controlled by the user. On the left side we have the volume rocker, which has that nice little space there and is well defined, so you won't have any problem finding that when rubbing your hand against the side. On the right side there is no buttons, so that also means there is no dedicated camera button, sorry to say. On top of the device we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, the micro USB port, and the power and screen lock button. Right below this power screen lock button is a noise cancellation mic. On the bottom of the device we have the notch to remove the battery door and the microphone. On the back we have a 5-megapixel autofocus camera with a single LED flash. Below that we have the speaker grill. This back is made of a really nice soft touch materials, so it does get a lot of fingerprints. You can tell looking at the light, see all the fingerprints, but it does feel nice in the hand. Removing the back cover, I'm going to peel it off. You can see the phone's 1520 milliamp hour battery. It ships with a 2 gig micro SD card, and there is where the SIM card goes. I'm going to put this back on. The myTouch Q also has a full 4-row QWERTY keyboard. It does have a dedicated row for the space button, which is always nice. Numbers don't get their own dedicated row. You do need to use the Alt to access the numbers. Basically anything in the blue you have to use the Alt key for. It does have the menu, home, and search button, so you don't have to try to reach up here to hit those, which is always nice. And there's also quick launch for text messaging in the web browser. So again, nice buttons to have. Overall I do like the keyboard. It does feel nice. Could be a little more well defined, but can't really complain too much. My main issue with the keyboard is the backlight. The backlight is nowhere near as bright as the backlight for the capacitive buttons. I really wish it was as bright. The myTouch Q was fairly easy to set up, so I do have to give it to LG for that. For a smartphone that's being marketed towards people who are just getting into using these, it was really easy to set up. It took about 5 minutes for me to set up 3 different email accounts and my Facebook to the phone. So that was nice. However, they do market it as uncluttered, and I found out of the box it came rather cluttered. This isn't what was up out of the box, but several of these things, like the icons on the bottom, the shortcuts on the bottom, were already up. So I feel like it was a little bit more cluttered than I would have liked it, but overall it was a rather simple and easy to set up device. Also, when you turn on the device, you're greeted to this, which are tips, some easy how-tos and what to do on certain areas of devices that you're going to commonly be using. There's also the whole area full of frequently asked questions and how-tos, which is again a really nice thing to have for a smartphone that you are targeting towards people who are just getting used to using smartphones. I'm going to go back to the home screen. You start off with 7 home panels, and if you pinch in you get an overview of all the home panels. From here you can do things like delete a home panel. Say I want to get rid of that search bar because I already have 2. Just drag it up, and now that's deleted. You can also rearrange home panels, so say I want to move this one here and set which one you want for the home panel. So I'm going to take the one with the calendar, though I have 2 calendars. I'm going to take the one with the calendar and set that as my home panel. So if I click here and then hit home, I go straight to that page. Another nice customization thing here is despite the fact that there's multiple sizes of this widget, you don't have to go in and delete this widget and bring up the widget tray again, well, the customization tray again, and go through there to change the size of the widget. Simply hold it. You don't have to hold it that long, but simply hold it and you get greeted with this grid, which shows you the area that it can take up, and you simply drag it and it'll automatically change to the other sides of the widget available. This is a really nice thing to be able to do. So we're going to delete this widget actually. Wait till it turns red. There you go. And we're going to bring up the customization menu. Another nice thing with it, you can go and see what panels you have open space in. So say I have a little bit of space here, so then I can choose put a widget there. I'm going to go with the battery widget. The widgets also have a blue outline and you can see the little blue box behind it showing you how much of the grid it's going to take up. Again, another really nice feature to have when you're trying to get used to what you can and can't do on a smartphone. Another really cool thing, since I have this page empty and it's not there, if I want to put it up, I don't have to go back into the pinched view and add it that way. I can simply just drag a widget. So I'm going to go with highlights, just drag the widget there, and now that page is available. Taking a look at the application drawer, when you take it out the box, you have this categories view, which shows you your recently used apps, your downloads, and all the onboard applications. If you want to close off all of the sections at once, you can simply pinch in to collapse everything. Again, you can click individually on the section you want open, or if you want to open everything back up at once, pinch out to expand everything. You also have the option, if you hit menu, of a page layout, which shows everything in a page view, and you have a list layout, which shows everything listed alphabetically. And in here you can also pinch in to collapse and pinch out to expand. And switch back to the categories view. Now the launcher bar on the bottom here, you can actually set what applications you want down there. So say I want music down there instead of navigation. Simply grab music and drop it down there, and now music's there instead of navigation. Also, from inside the app drawer, you can delete your downloaded apps. So I hit menu and manage applications. You have the option of clicking here and deleting these applications. As a member of the myTouch line of devices, the myTouch Q has the Genius button. The Genius button is a custom-made voice command service by Dragon Nuance for T-Mobile's myTouch line of devices. If I press and hold here, it will launch the app. What you can do is make calls, search the web, navigate, and also send text messages. So I press and hold. Search the oatmeal. And now it's running a web search. And I got the oatmeal. There's also a car mode available. Go back home. There you go. And what the car mode does, it will listen out for you to say the words Genius button, so you don't have to physically press anything. As soon as you say the word Genius button, it will automatically launch the Genius button and you can do everything hands-free. So I'm going to show you how that works. Genius button. Navigate to Kansas. And that's a demo of the Genius button on the myTouch Q. As far as input methods on the myTouch Q, you have three options. You have the physical 4-row QWERTY keyboard available to you. You also have two on-screen keyboards. You have the standard Android keyboard, which works in both portrait and landscape mode. I find that the phone offers you a good amount of space to type in either way. You also have swipe. What swipe allows you to do is to simply drag your fingers across the letters to form the word. And this too works in both portrait and landscape mode. Another one of the cool features of the myTouch Q is its gesture controls. So if I want to move the cursor, I can simply tap on the side of the device to get the cursor to move. Another area on the myTouch Q when you can use gesture controls is in the Gallery app. To look through pictures, you can either swipe or tap the side of the phone. The myTouch Q is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon chipset. This is the MSM8255 chipset, which has a 1 GHz Scorpion CPU and a Adreno 205 GPU. This also has 512 megabytes of RAM and 0.98 gigabytes of ROM, so that's your internal storage. As far as performance goes, I found that, like any phone, the more apps you have open, the slower you're going to notice the phone getting. But it is going to be able to handle your everyday task and your going online to stream music and all the other fun things we like to do with our phones. The battery life, however, I've been able to get about 15 hours on average. And so a heavy user is definitely going to want to either carry the charger with them or have a spare battery available. I haven't had any issues reception-wise with the myTouch Q. It is a 4G device running on T-Mobile's HSPA Plus network. This is one of the 42 megabits per second devices. On average, I was able to get 5 megabits per second down. I did take a trip out of town to an area where the 4G coverage is better, and my highest test I was able to get 9.10 megabits per second down. As far as sound quality goes, I did have some issues when using the earpiece. I found that I got a lot of hissing and crackling in the background, which is rather odd considering that the phone does have a noise cancellation mic. But when I was using the speakerphone, I found that the background noise was a lot less noticeable. Checking out the web browser on the myTouch Q, let's head over to boymeetsphone.com. Now, the browser is a standard Android WebKit browser with a few tweaks made by LG. It does support pinch to zoom, and it does format the text to fit the screen, though it's not like it does on some other devices. Some of the other tweaks made by LG: if you rotate the phone, the page will actually swing around. Kind of a little cool feature. Check out the other windows open. This is the view you get. I'm going to head over to the Pomegranate phone website to show you that the phone does support flash. That's in full screen mode. So that's a look at the web browser on the myTouch Q. Taking a look at the camera interface on the myTouch Q, you have the LG camera interface. So on the side you have the preview of the last image you took, the shutter button. There is no physical shutter button, so you are stuck with the on-screen shutter button, and the switch from video to still picture. If you either hit the menu button or tap on this side, you have the other menu, which includes zoom, brightness, the scene modes. So you have portrait mode, landscape, sport, sunset, and a night. Flash, your flash controls, and your settings. For shot modes, you have normal, panoramic, and continuous. Both panoramic and continuous shot modes will bump you down to VGA quality pictures. You can do things like change the ISO, the image size, the focus. It does have face tracking. Take the geolocation on and off, and also change the image quality. To focus on the subject, you have to tap and hold, and it'll let you know that it's focused on it, and simply hit the shutter button. I find that the pictures from this device they come out decent. With macro mode, well, not macro, when you're taking a close-up, because there is no macro mode, but when you take a close-up shot, it's kind of hit or miss whether the quality is going to be good. I've gotten a couple of good close-up shots, but I've also gotten a couple of bad ones. With the panoramic and continuous shot modes, since it bumps you down to VGA quality, they are going to be rather noisy and off focus because it doesn't focus. And also with the panoramic mode, you can clearly see the stitching between the 5 shots, so that's a little bit annoying. It doesn't do as good a job as other camera software does with doing the panoramic shots. You let's check over the video mode. It does record in 720p high def video, and the phone does support continuous autofocus while recording high def video, which is a nice feature to have. The autofocus is a little slow, but it does work, and I mean, at the end of the day, that's part of the things that matter. It doesn't support tap to focus, so you can't tap and focus on a specific subject. It's whatever's in the center, but it will focus, so it's a nice thing to have. The video quality has been pretty good. I've had a couple of instances when the frame rates dropped when recording a moving cat, but overall I find that the quality of the videos has been decent. At the end of the day, I think the myTouch Q is a good phone for those trying to make the leap from feature phone to a smartphone, but still want to keep that keyboard. For the complete review of the myTouch Q, head over to the site, boymeetsphone.com. Remember to like me on Facebook. This is Yusarian from boymeetsphone.com. Thanks for watching.